The Orlando Magic have finally filled their final roster spot by signing veteran point guard Cory Joseph. And for diehard Magic fans, you know exactly what that means. Unfortunately, Markelle Fultz will not be returning next season. We're going to talk about what the Cory Joseph signing means for the current guard rotation and what is next in Markelle Fultz's career and why exactly he wasn't brought back for the Orlando Magic. But first, guys, if you're watching this video, you're most likely not subscribed. So the 96.5% of you join the 3.5%. It's the easiest and most effective way to support the family over here at Magic Digest. So guys, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the Magic news as the dog days of summer is right around the corner and as Summer League ends up dying down a little bit. All right, let's get into the initial report that came in. Cory Joseph is going to be signing a 2-year deal, and Jason Beede confirms that it is going to be a 1-1 with a team option for the Orlando Magic. And obviously, this is not going to be a two-way deal, so we have a few different potential candidates for that two-way deal still available with the guys playing on the current roster. So last year, Cory Joseph was with the Warriors, didn't exactly play a ton of minutes. He kind of slots in as that just in case, the emergency point guard on this team. That looks like the Magic are going to be moving forward with Jalen Suggs as that main facilitator, that main point guard. We'll see if he can be as comfortable in that position, but it looks to be that Cory Joseph and Gary Harris are going to be those security blankets that potentially Jamahl Mosley will turn to whenever Anthony Black or Jalen Suggs aren't really, playing well enough. KCP will see exactly what we throw at him, what exactly, ball handling duties he's going to have. I'd assume not as much as the two guys that I just mentioned. They put Anthony Black sparingly at the point guard position, so it's really going to be a lot of Markelle Fultz. But we'll see what kind of impact Cory Joseph has. Last year, Cory Joseph played 26 games. He only averaged 2.4 points per game for the Warriors, but obviously they were pretty stacked at the guard position, so he'll probably have a very similar role on Magic. I wouldn't really expect too much other than that 15th guy on the bench to call Cory Joseph. I'm not saying that he's going to be any more than that, but that looks to be right around what he's done, and he's kind of carved himself out a pretty nice career. He's been in the league for 13 years. This deal could potentially get him to 15 years in the NBA, so obviously he's going to add some shooting. He's been in the league long enough. You don't stay in the league if you don't have any shooting. So we'll see exactly what he can be. When he with his time with the Pistons, he averaged 6.9 points per game, and I think most Magic fans know him from when he was on the Pistons, whenever he got dunked on by Paolo Banchero, and that was essentially just about his main highlight from that year. But no, he is a career 35% three-point shooter, and he made 38.9% of his threes in the 2023 NBA season. So there's plenty to like about him. Now I think a lot of fans we'll get into the Markelle Fultz part of it now. I think a lot of fans would probably want to see Markelle come back. Obviously took a step back this year. You wanted to see kind of what he could be for the organization, because just a couple years ago you thought he could be the point guard of the future, even during Suggs' rookie year and all that sort of stuff. But it looks to be that they're going to move on, and they didn't really see a point in signing him for any more than what they signed Cory Joseph for, right? Like, looks like they were trying to get a guy on cheap, and Markelle Fultz just wasn't going to be that guy. He averaged 7.8 points per game last year, and for the most part, that could get you more than the minimum, depending on where you're going. And I think Markelle Fultz is still trying to see where exactly is interested in him. And I think for the Magic, for the most part, they didn't want to spend any more money than they had to this offseason. They wanted to re-sign their guys, and you saw whenever they let the restricted rights of Fultz and Okeke go, that those guys were going to be on the back burner. They let Ingles walk, and at the end of the day, they felt like they found their guard rotation, and they're just going to try to grow from within, and they're going to let Markelle go to whatever team he pleases. He averaged 7.8 points per game last year, 3.2 boards, 2.8 assists. Obviously, that 22% from three is probably the nail in the coffin. Unfortunately, it's really just been injuries for Markelle Fultz. He built up a little bit of steam a few years ago, but getting paid $17 million last year, I don't think that was something that the Magic were at all interested in even coming close to. And we see it right now. There's no team that's really all that close to coming to that number for Markelle Fultz. So for the most part, I think we're I think he's looking at a change of scenery. It was being reported even before the Cory Joseph signing that Markelle Fultz was probably gone. Obviously, this report now is almost aged. Says is doubtful to return to Orlando. I don't think that there's going to be a situation where Markelle Fultz signs a deal this offseason for a two-way spot on a team. I think he's looking at a real contract. I think that should be obvious, so that pretty much eliminates the Orlando Magic. Kind of an end of an era, I would say. You're kind of, whenever you think of Markelle Fultz, you think of those early 2020 teams where the Magic were kind of the land of misfit toys. That doesn't seem to be what they are anymore, and it kind of makes sense because they're going to try to make a deep playoff run this year. That'll be the best case scenario, that they try to get to the second, third round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. And does Markelle Fultz fit that mold when it come playoff time? Is he going to be good enough? I don't know. He had one pretty decent game against the Cavs this past season, but I think at the end of the day, that's not going to be enough to get you paid anywhere near $17 million, and I doubt he was asking for that. But getting paid more than potentially the minimum or whatever number the Magic it gets revealed that they signed Cory Joseph for, I don't know. I also think that the Gary Harris deal probably showed their hand a little bit. They probably wanted to keep Gary Harris more than they did Markelle Fultz, so they got that out of the way quickly, even with a lot of fans being disappointed that Gary Harris came back, and this was before everything was sorted in free agency. So for the most part, I think Markelle Fultz could find a spot on a team that's looking to raise their salary cap floor. A team like the Pistons, I know, has signed a couple guys to get that number higher, to increase their payroll to meet that number. Maybe that's a team that he looks for to kind of just continue to revive his career. But like I said, look, it's going to be that three-point shooting. That three-point shooting really killed him last year, and that's not something that the Magic really want to invest in. So I think it makes a lot of sense. Cory Joseph is a much better three-point shooter. Like I said, he's not going to be like a crazy volume shooter. Only averaged 2.4 points, in the 26 games that he played for Golden State. And then obviously was traded to the Indiana Pacers at the deadline and was waived. So he didn't get a ton of playing time. He didn't get a ton of time with those teams. But we have seen the 32-year-old put up some points. Like I said, he did that with the Pistons. So maybe he could slot in as on a day when a guy's injured or hurt or taking load management. He could slot in on a whim and potentially knock down some three-point shots. Now, he's not going to be the facilitator that this team is looking for. That's going to still be something that this team is probably searching for. Maybe they're going to rely on Anthony Black. He's been pretty decent in the Summer League so far. Just suffered a sprained ankle, so we'll see exactly if we're going to be able to watch him on the court again in this Summer League. They used him sparingly, like I said, at that point guard position, so I don't know exactly what they are looking for as far as a table setter for Paolo Banchero. Maybe that could be Cory Joseph at times during the game, but I don't see him really netting too many opportunities if Anthony Black can be that guy and they just re-sign KCP. But this guard rotation should be very interesting. They're probably going to have to lock up Jalen Suggs very, very soon, because I think for the most part this Orlando Magic team and their guard positions and their guards and the depth chart is pretty much completely sealed, all of their positions right now. But guys, let me know what you think about this move in the comments. Would you have liked to see them just bring back Markelle Fultz? Potentially he could be signed by a team for the minimum, so you never know. I don't know exactly what he's searching for, what his camp is looking for, but obviously his leverage takes a bit of a hit, or another hit, especially now that it's completely sealed that the Magic aren't going to bring him back. Let me know what you guys think. Should we have re-signed Markelle Fultz for potentially higher number than we did Cory Joseph, or are you good with the move and rounding out the roster? That's all the time that we have for today, though. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time with more Magic basketball news.